We have a very deep backyard. You have to drag the hose all the way out, reel it back in when we need to. So today, we're gonna try and remedy that a little bit. Here's the situation. We have a very deep backyard. We only have one source of water in that backyard, all the way up the house. Just from the house to the far corner of the garden is about 100 feet. Another 100 feet beyond that to get to the goat pen. In the past, we've had to drag out a hose or carry buckets in order to get water out to the goat pen. This can be very cumbersome. You have to drag the hose all the way out, reel it back in when we need to. We've used a hose reel before. It just gets cumbersome with such a long hose and hard to reel in when it's 200 foot long. So today, we're gonna try and remedy that a little bit with a DIY solution to get water about to the middle of the yard, at least make it a little bit easier when the time comes to get water in these situations. Now this won't be an all-weather solution. We'll definitely have to take it in when the weather starts to dip where freezing could be a problem, because it'll all be above ground. We'll be running a 100-foot hose to the back corner of the garden, where I'll be constructing a spigot out there that we can connect another hose to, shorter hose for the garden to put up a sprinkler, or to just fill buckets directly. Let's get started. So the idea here is going to be relatively simple. Just a bucket, some pipe, some fittings, and some concrete. The plan is to build a freestanding spigot out of this bucket, weighed down with the concrete, have an attachment point for our hose that's coming from the house at the bottom, coming out the side of the bucket, elbows up the pipe, has a spigot on the top, and everything's good from there. You can attach another hose to it to run further, hose for a sprinkler in the garden, fill a bucket directly. Probably going to get one of those little Y adapters so we can have a little bit of flexibility and leave a hose on or leave a sprinkler on and still have access to the spigot right there. Let's get started.
I thought it'd be a good idea to have the attachment point for the incoming hose to be up off the ground a little bit. So I used a 2x4 as a guide to determine the height for where my incoming pipe would go, marked the hole, and then drilled it. And then took that same 2x4 and used it as a prop for the incoming pipe. In hindsight, that was not the best idea. It ended up being a little bit too tall in comparison to where the pipe came in. It actually makes the vertical pipe a little bit crooked. We'll see that later in the video. But there again, good enough homesteading, not a problem.
All right, just so we don't offend too many plumbers out there, this is DIY good enough homesteading, okay? I only have Teflon tape. Kind of didn't look ahead far enough to know whether I should use the pipe dope stuff or Teflon tape, and thought I had both, but I only have Teflon tape. From what I understand, it's probably best to use a little bit of both, but I don't have that, so we're just going to try Teflon tape and hope we don't regret it.
Teflon tape is used to fill in the gaps in the threads. Just helps keep these fittings from leaking. Again, using the pipe dope and Teflon tape together is just an extra sure way of that.
Don't forget, I work in IT, not plumbing, so just remember that.
After inserting the lower pipe into the bucket, I went ahead and Teflon taped the vertical pipe. And we're going to thread that in there and we'll be ready for the concrete.
Alright, I've never used this stuff before. I think I helped my dad with some like when I was in elementary school. But it seems pretty straightforward. So let's give it a go.
Kind of trying. this all down, make sure there's no big air gaps in there before we put in the water. Also, looking back, I did not probably read the instructions well enough with this. I think I used probably almost double the amount of water than I should have. And I also was watching a couple other videos on how other people have used this. Probably would have been a good idea to do kind of a half at a time. Get that first layer so that that water would have penetrated way down in there and gotten that really good and set up, and then added some more on top.
All right, we're gonna let that sit up, and then we'll attach the fittings at the top with the spigot, and then the adapter at the bottom to attach the hose feeding the water to it, and we'll see how well it does. All right, now that our concrete's set up and the sun's back out, so we can finish this project. I also went ahead and picked up some of the pipe dope that I recommended earlier. Let's finish this off.
Just a thin layer of this is probably sufficient, especially if you're going to be using the Teflon tape with it as well.
So there we have it. We're all put together now, and we're gonna try and take it out back and connect it up and see what happens. So, you haven't been involved in this project like at all.
Nope. Wasn't even in town.
I ran the general idea by you, and we felt that that was okay, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. So, now it's the moment of truth. What do you think? You think it's gonna work?
Sure.
Sure?
Of course it will.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think my vote
Is it
yes.
on at the house?
It's not on at the house yet, so let's start there, I guess.
That might be helpful. Well, it's not coming out of its own accord, so
It's also going to go through 100 feet.
it's not leaking.
It's temporary hose, so.
So that's a good start. Here we go. Ready?
Got a lot of air in it.
Yeah, that is a lot of air. Woo!
The spigot. It works.
I go in it.
Ta-da!
Works.
It works.
All right, it's done. It doesn't leak that we see, at least. So we ran it inside the garden here. We ran a hose all the way back to the house. Put a little Y adapter up top so that we can either run a sprinkler off of it right here in the garden, or another shorter hose. Got the next hose to get us to the goat pen. Probably could almost reach the barn, or maybe even does reach the barn at this point. So far, works out pretty good. We'll just have to see how it works through the summer and take it in the winter so it doesn't freeze. So here's the real question of the hour. Is it wifey approved?
I suppose so. I just need you to get a gate on my garden so that I can actually, get in and out of here a little bit easier. And if it ever stops raining, maybe I'll use this.
One thing at a time. So there you have it. A simple little DIY project that fills a need here on the farm. I hope you enjoyed following along and got an inspiration to do it yourself or something similar. Feel free to drop in the comments if you did this project, any changes that you may have made along the way. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We'll include some links down in the description to some of the items that we used for this project so you can do it yourself. Happy homestead DIYing.